Barry Petersen good enough to join us now, along with his wife, Mary Nell Wolff. It is a great pleasure to have you both.
Well, thank you for
here.
having us here.
A beautiful piece about some technology that, if nothing else, it would seem we need more people to know about. But first, let's not bury the lead. You are doing how now?
I'm doing very well, thank you. My last chemo treatment was 4 months ago, and I just had my checkup, and so my blood is clear so far, so we're very optimistic.
Worth noting that the hair that she has now is how she looked all through the chemo.
This is, and it's a remarkable thing to think. So the experience of wearing the cold cap, I know we just saw in the piece, you described it as something unlike pain, but some discomfort. But what was, I mean, because if nothing else, the commitment, the hours-long commitment here, as much as anything, would seem to be quite something to bear.
It is. You start with the cold caps an hour before the infusion.
Okay.
Then you've got 2 or 3 hours of the infusion, depending on how many drugs they're giving you, and then 4 hours afterwards. So it ends up being about an 8-hour day. They're very cold. They're 30 degrees below, and so it's like you can imagine putting an ice cube on your head for 8 hours. You have to use a laser thermometer, and they're kept chilled with dry ice. So it's a labor-intensive process, but that being said, I do it all over again.
You would.
But you had to change it every 20 or 30 minutes because your head warms up.
Your body temperature warms it up.
So they're really, I mean, there's sort of a constant flow.
And you rotate them so that you have to refreeze them with dry ice, and you rotate them all the time. But the unfortunate thing is we just have not spread the word.
Which I was struck by. So people just don't know this is out there.
Right. It's been used in Europe for over 20 years.
Wow.
But in the United States, we only find out by word of mouth.
And that's how you found out.
And that's how I found out. It was actually a CBS friend who had gone to a breast cancer symposium at about the same time I was diagnosed, and she told me about it.
Barry asked you in the piece what it meant. What it meant soulfully and spiritually for you. I mean, I get the sense that it was worth it, and you just said you'd do it all over again. What was it for you then to do?
I think the biggest advantage is I worked, like many women, worked through the chemotherapy. And so I could meet with clients, I could go to a restaurant. No one knew I was sick. No one knew I was undergoing chemotherapy. So it gives you a sense of normalcy during a very difficult time that you wouldn't otherwise have. So I think it's just another option. It's not going to be for everybody. It's expensive, so not everyone would be able to afford it. But knowing that there is something that you could do. I have a friend whose company paid for her cold caps. I have another friend whose father said, I can't do anything, but I can do this for you. So the mere fact that we are not informing women of the fact that there is an option is what is difficult for us to know.
It's certainly understandable.
I think from the women that I spoke with, and Mary Nell has now met several women in the Denver area and others, I would say the overwhelming emotion is defiance. Like, this disease is not going to define me, it's not going to categorize me, and keeping your hair is one way to defy what cancer is doing to you.
You said in your piece, you were going through it together, and it was very apparent, the partnership and the camaraderie. But what was it like, Barry, for you to do and to see and to witness?
I think it's frightening. You know, you don't really get the sense of what all of this is until you're into it. Like, after the surgery, and then you go to this thing called an infusion room. And we're not unusual. A lot of people have done this. But there's something just heart-stopping about to realize what is at stake in this battle. And you know, keeping her hair was one of the good things we could all do, and we got people together and we could work at it. We couldn't make her chemotherapy work because we're not doctors, but we could be there to make the other parts work. And I think even for me, you don't feel quite as helpless.
It was, it's a beautiful piece and a vital one because, as you mentioned, spreading the word here is as important as anything. And if I may say, the hair looks lovely.
Doesn't it look great?
Thank you, thank you, and thank you for your help in spreading the word.
No, it's quite literally the least we could do. So again, thank you both. Thank you both for being here in all ways.
Thanks for
you.
having us.